Namaste. I'm Manasi Prasad, classical vocalist and museum director of the Indian Music Experience Museum. Can you imagine a world without music? Where temples have no chants, lovers have no melodies, babies have no lullabies? It's hard, right? Especially in a country like India, where music is a part of everything that we do. It in a way defines us. We have songs from the time we are born to the time we die. Every region, every religion, every language of this country has its own music. It's kind of pervasive in everything that we do. What's interesting about Indian music especially is it has so many paradoxes. It has a history that spans over 2000 years ago. Indian classical music is said to have come from the Natya Shastra, a book that was written by Bharata somewhere between the 2nd century BC and the 2nd century AD. With all this deep history, it continues to evolve. You have new genres, new artists, new forms of expression that keep coming out. On one hand, it is incredibly diverse. You have every village, every region of the country having its own music, and yet there is something that connects all this music together, be it a sense of spiritualism or a deep sense of emotional content or the melodic nature of the music. It's very personal. Each of us has a favorite genre or a favorite song. At the same time, it's also a shared experience. It binds us together as communities. And yet, even though there's music all around us, if we pause and ask the question, how many people today really know about the diversity of music in our country? How many young people can sit through an hour-long rendition of a single raga? Do people today know the difference between the quality of sound and the quality of music? So it is with this idea of preserving and propagating and perhaps increasing a little bit of the understanding and awareness about Indian music and its diversity, we have set up the Indian Music Experience Museum, which is India's first and only interactive music museum. Some of the ideas in the museum are to help people understand the connections between various forms of music. For example, if you take any Hindi film song that you would hear today, and there are countless examples, you would hear some parallels with perhaps some forms of Indian classical or folk music. There are so many interesting facets about every genre of music that we have in our country, and in some ways we've tried and put this all together at the Indian Music Experience Museum, which is really a visitor-centric interactive music museum. The vision of the Indian Music Experience Museum is really to increase the understanding and appreciation of the diversity of Indian music from the traditional to the contemporary. The IME is a non-profit initiative of the Indian Music Experience Trust and is supported by the Brigade Group. Our founder is M.R. Jaishankar, the chairperson of the Brigade Group. The IME has 3 parts, and each part of the museum serves a specific function. Outside this 50,000 square foot building, we have what is known as the Sound Garden. What's interesting about music is that as much as it is an art, it is also a science. And sound is produced on the basis of various principles of physics. For example, the Sound Garden has various musical installations or sculptures that bring to life different concepts of physics. There is the humming stone, where if you put your head inside a hollow in the stone and sing, it naturally amplifies the sound and also illustrates the principle of resonance. You have various kinds of xylophones, metallophones, and lithophones. And this installation illustrates the concept of timbre, where every material produces a different type of sound. You have chimes, you have a strong drum, and we have a very special instrument called the humming stone, where if you moisten your hands and rub the stone, it sings. As you enter the museum, there are 9 galleries, each of which illustrate a different genre or a different concept of music. The first gallery is Contemporary Expressions, where really it's a celebration of the new music that is coming out of the country, which is both strongly grounded in tradition and yet open to influences from around the world. Moving on into the gallery of Living Traditions, we look at the two great rivers of Indian classical music, Carnatic and Hindustani, and explore concepts in these two genres. One of the very interesting things about the IME is that we want it to be a multi-sensory experience, because we believe that music is not just heard, but it can be seen, felt, and that's how it can be experienced. So when you come into the museum, you see storyboards that talk about the history behind various pieces of music or an interesting snippet. You have artifacts. We have a huge instruments gallery which has over 100 instruments of Indian music, both classical and folk. We have memorabilia belonging to famous artists, for example, Bismillah Khan's Shehnai and cap, Bhim Sen Joshi's silver pan box, a whole lot of memorabilia belonging to Pandit Ravi Shankar. So there are artifacts. Most interestingly, we have a lot of interactive computer-based installations. Some of these are listening stations where you can hear various forms of music. For example, one of our interactives, the Hybrid Sounds, allows the visitor to mix different pieces of music together to create their own unique musical mix. Our recording studio allows the visitor to record various pieces of music and with a karaoke track, listen to it. Our belief is that music needs to be passed on to the next generation, and with this in mind, we have set up the Learning Center. The Learning Center provides high quality music education to people of all age groups, especially young people, in various disciplines of music, with the hope that these youngsters will not just become the performers of tomorrow, but also the music connoisseurs and supporters. The IME hosts a wide variety of public programs, from concerts to seminars to summer camps to lectures and many others. And our hope is that in the years to come, the museum becomes an institution of lasting significance and becomes a sort of hub for musicians, connoisseurs, and students. We are living through unprecedented times where museums and cultural institutions around the world have had to close their doors. It's natural to wonder, what is the role of music and the performing or visual arts at a time like this? Personally, I believe that now more than ever before, the role of the arts comes to the fore. Music and the arts are what can bring solace to us in difficult times, relieve stress or depression, and really make us feel connected to the larger community. At the IME, although we've had to shut the doors physically during the pandemic, we have moved a lot of our activities online. We conduct a series of public programs that are accessible on Facebook and YouTube. Our Learning Center classes have moved completely online, and we're in the process of bringing parts of the museum's exhibits into virtual exhibits that can be experienced online. As we move forward, the definition of interactive music museums has to change slightly. We consider our museum a please touch space, and we are trying to adopt various means and mechanisms to make the museum visit a safe and hygienic visit for all. There are other music museums around the world. For example, the IME is an affiliate partner of the Grammy Museum in Los Angeles, which celebrates American music of various genres. There are some museums that celebrate the life and works of particular musicians, such as the Bob Marley Museum in the Caribbean or the Beatles Story in Liverpool. To sum it all up, I think the power of music lies in the fact that it enables us to create, to communicate, and to collaborate. And to sum up the purpose of museums, would be that museums are spaces to inform, to interpret, and to inspire. I look forward to welcoming you all to the museum very soon. Till then, do follow our activities online, keep listening to music, and keep supporting the performing arts. Thank you.